EBIT margin pretty much in line with what the street was penciling in. Well, as we wait by for more numbers, my colleague Poonam Sane is here with a little more number crunching and more details. Poonam, what's it looking like for TCS in Q4?
Well, looking pretty much good in terms of the Q4 results. Awan, I would say that, as I said, the revenue growth is fairly in line with ET Now poll estimates. It's a 4.2% quarter-on-quarter revenue growth in constant currency terms, and we were expecting a similar number. Operating margin, it's a very slight beat. I would go with an inline operating margin because we were expecting an operating margin of 26.6%, and it has come in at 26.8%. The highlight is that we're seeing the highest ever TCV in a quarter. The Q4 order book itself stands fairly high at $9.2 billion. So that's fairly robust. Also, if you look at the overall commentary coming in from the management, that also is fairly upbeat. Rajesh Gopinathan, who is the CEO and MD, he says that the investments over the last decade in building newer capabilities and in research and innovation position them for a multi-year technology services opportunity ahead, and while they continue to dominate in the traditional areas of strength, they are making good progress in gaining market share in terms of transformation opportunity. The focus would be into FY22 to engage with clients in their growth agenda, propelling by innovation and leverage of collective knowledge. So this is the kind of commentary that we understand coming in from TCS. To recall, Awan, management in the last quarter itself had stated that they were fairly confident to achieve a double-digit growth in FY22 itself. In fact, if we look at the overall industries breakup itself, the all verticals have showed fairly good sequential growth, but there is a couple of lag in some of the verticals there. BFSI segment has grown 7% quarter-on-quarter. Retail CPG has grown at 4% quarter-on-quarter. Life sciences healthcare at 3.8%. Manufacturing has done well, growing at 3.9% quarter-on-quarter. Technology services growing at 2.8%, communication media 1.8%. Even in terms of the markets as well, wherein North America is the largest market, North America has grown at 3.9%. Continental Europe has grown fairly strong at 8.5% QQ, and UK has grown at 3.4% quarter-on-quarter. Overall, if you're looking at the commentary, it's fairly robust as well. So I would say it's a good results coming in from TCS, fairly in line with what we were expecting.
It's in line both on the top as well as the bottom line. And before I take it across to my experts, I'm just going to quickly read out the comment coming in from Rajesh Gopinathan, the CEO and MD at TCS, saying that our investments over the last decade in building newer capabilities and in research and innovation position us well for the multi-year technology services opportunity ahead. He says, while we continue to dominate in our traditional areas of strength, we are making very good progress in gaining share in the growth and transformation opportunity. He says our focus going into FY22, and I think this is what the market would want to know, will be to engage with clients in their growth agenda, propelled by innovation and leverage of collective knowledge as well. So that really is the commentary coming in from the management this time around. I have with me Amit Chandra, Sandeep Agarwal, as well as Omkar Tanskale, all joining in on the phone line right now. Amit, hi, good evening. If I could start off with you first, an inline set, both when it comes to the top and the bottom line. What's been your first takeaway from the earnings?
Hi. Yeah, so obviously, the reported numbers are in line with our estimates too. So, they may be slightly ahead in terms of constant currency. So we're expecting 3.5% quarter-on-quarter growth in constant currency. So it's at 4.2%. And on the EBITDA margin also, it's in line with what we were expecting. And if you see the order bookings, it's around $9.2 billion, the highest ever TCV reported. So in terms of the large deal activity, obviously there has been a lot of announcements in the quarters, and that is being reflected in the strong order book. So this strong order book actually gives us the visibility of the ongoing optimism in the sector, and the ability of the company to win like large deals. And another important factor that I would see is the attrition, right? So the attrition for IT services is 7.2%, which is the all-time low. So that is in an environment where the activity is so high, and in that environment the attrition is inching downwards. That actually shows a very strong sign.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly read out the segmental breakup as well, because that too is in. On a sequential basis, BFSI is up 7%. Retail and CPG has managed a growth of about 4%. Life sciences and healthcare an uptick of 3.8% on a sequential basis, and manufacturing is up 3.9% on a QOQ basis. So that's where we stand in terms of the segmental performance for TCS. Not just that, I just want to quickly mark the kind of deal wins as well that we've seen. While there has been a net addition of 19,388 employees, the highest ever in about a quarter, the Q4 order book at $9.2 billion is also the highest ever TCV in a quarter that they have clocked. Sandeep, if I could come to you, tell me what stands out for you when it comes to the earnings, and do they match up with your estimates, or would you say they're a little ahead?
Yes, I think the numbers are slightly below my numbers. My numbers were obviously very, very aggressive. We were expecting 4.8% constant currency, and what I hear from the channel, it has come at 4.2, slightly below my number in terms of revenue growth, and margin also. It is 20 basis points lower than what we were anticipating, but the order book is extremely strong at 9.2 billion, and net addition 19,388, which is, despite the fact that the attrition is 7.2, says you how much strong momentum they are seeing in the business. I would reiterate that these numbers line by line are much ahead of the street if you compare with what the average sell side estimates were there. Obviously slightly lower than my number, but I see the strong net addition, the strong order book, and a 7% attrition as revalidating that the demand environment is extremely robust and will continue to be like that.
Okay. When it comes to the scorecard, the rupee revenue has come in line with the ET Now estimate, so has the EBIT margin in line with what we were penciling in, and so has the PAT as well. It's come in exactly what ET Now poll was penciling in. I just want to quickly mark what the geographical breakup as well is looking like, because the continental Europe area has seen an uptick of about 8.5% on a sequential basis. North America has seen an uptick of 3.9%, and UK has been an uptick of 3.4% on a sequential basis. Omkar, for a stock which touched its 52-week high as recent as April 9, just a few days back, it's already gained about 88.6% in the last 1 year and 8.7% in the last 1 month itself. To add to that, it is the most expensive stock when it comes to the entire IT basket. I mean, we ourselves are working with a 31 PE when it comes to the FY22 estimates and 27.9 on an FY23 estimated basis. Would you say the positives so far are penciled in already into the stock price, or would you say after these earnings there is still scope for the stock to move higher?
Yeah, definitely we can say, and this case is having higher multiplier as compared to its peers. Plus, the kind of deals that are coming on their order book and the kind of ramp up they are doing, the kind of addition they are, the attrition is low. So all in terms of macroeconomics or in terms of the company is heading towards growth acceleration going ahead. So, and the company has also sustained the strong broad-based performance, the gain of the market share in BFSI and the scale, and they continue gaining their market shares and performing the revenue growth acceleration as seen across the verticals. So, in my opinion, that the going ahead, the company has a better prospect. Even the demand scenario is being robust from the digital automation part. So I believe that there is a room for upside going ahead, if you can see in fundamental basis over long term.
Get in your take as to how exactly, you're looking at the kind of deal momentum that we've seen kick in for TCS, because that definitely has been very impressive and pretty much on expected lines. It is what the street was factoring in as well. Just walk us through your outlook as to what you were expecting on that front, what kind of outlook you would like to hear on that overall order book at $9.2 billion. It's the highest ever TCV in the quarter, and the FY21 order book at $31.6 billion has seen quite a steady growth, double digit at that of 17%. Amit, that question was for you on the order book and the deal momentum.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Yeah, so obviously on the like order book, as we have said, it was on expected lines because already in terms of deal activity, TCS announced like 3 large deals like Vodafone, 3 UK, and one another large deal that they have already announced. So the $9.2 billion deal TCV that they have reported is on the expected lines. But the important thing to note here is that with the increased demand environment, there is a natural supply side constraint that actually comes in, which is not actually visible as of now. So the attrition is actually going down. So generally when like demand trends up, the attrition also trends up. But currently it's just the reverse happening, and that is a function of the in-house training efforts that the company is actually putting in. So if you see that there is a 40-50% jump in the in the training hours, right, for the employees. So that has actually led to a lot of retraining exercise and making the employees train for the newest technologies. So that is one thing that has changed really. Okay, and also the trend of like lower subcontracting expenses, the offshore delivery, which is somewhat like mitigating the risk of the margins, right? So I think the demand environment will continue, and it's a broad-based performance across geographies and across verticals. And I think TCS being the leader will have the benefit of its size and its capabilities.
Oh yes, indeed, definitely stands to benefit on the back of that. We did have the expectations, right, that with the ramp up in post-bank prudential financial deals, all of this would have aided the overall revenue growth. Omkar, going forward, what is it that you're penciling in by way of revenue trajectory? Because we were looking at Europe as well as a bit of a problem spot this time around due to the spike in COVID cases. Now, with the second wave as well having hit India, do you reckon that it'll impact the overall revenue trajectory going forward? Amit, let's get in your take on what you're expecting in terms of the revenue run rate going forward, given that they have delivered in this quarter, but do you believe that they will be able to sustain their overall revenue momentum in the coming quarters?
Yeah, so obviously, what we're expecting is, in terms of dollar revenue CAGR, we're expecting a 13% CAGR over FY21 to 23. So, that is, as compared to Infosys, which is at 14%, and HCLTech is at 12%. So the whole sector is actually heading towards, a double-digit growth in FY20, and obviously slight moderation in FY23 will happen on that base. But in terms of the deal bookings, the large deal TCV, I don't think the momentum will subside in the near term.
Okay, Okay, that's the take coming in and how we're likely to pan out. Just want to bring up the TCS stock price as well. Well, of course, in today's market, there was all wrath and there wasn't any hiding place. So TCS as well fell, although most of these names started off the day quite smartly. TCS fell by about 2.5%. But like I said, given that it made a fresh 52-week high as recent as April 9, just a few days back, this 2.5% fall is really negligible. I'm just waiting to see whether or not there are any more comments coming in from the management. They've also appointed Samir Seksaria as the CFO now. So he's going to be the new appointee on TCS's board. There is also a quote plate coming in from N. Ganpati Subramaniam, the current COO and ED, saying that he's pleased to note that in FY21, leading organizations partnered with TCS in the growth and transformation journeys. Many of them benefited from their refreshingly consultative approach, shaping, contracting, executing, measuring the success of transformation programs, always holding ourselves accountable. Also, there's also word coming in from the outgoing CFO, that's V. Ramakrishnan, saying that he's very pleased with their performance in the fourth quarter. This caps 3 quarters of consistently robust performance in a pandemic year and gives a strong exit from FY21. He says our Q4 margins are a validation of our strong belief that it is possible to win mega deals, post industry leading growth, continue to invest in our people and in newer capabilities as well, and still deliver industry leading footprint in the large growth and transformation opportunities. So very bullish commentary coming in from both Rajesh Gopinathan as well as the outgoing CFO. That's V. Ramakrishnan. But on that note, I'd like to thank all of our experts for joining in and analyzing TCS's numbers. We're going to take a very quick break. Come right back. We'll cut across to the TCS press conference by the management.